Hello and welcome to week 8 of Geek News and Craft Brews. On today's show, we'll talk about old school movie reboots, the Xtreme Justice League, and Stan Lee's new show, Lucky Man. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome once again to Geek News and Craft Brews, our weekly dive into everything geek culture that mattered to us this week. I'm Steven.
I'm Chris.
And of course, we are joined by the only substance that can help you make sense of what Bizarro's saying, and that's alcohol. Chris, what are you drinking today?
I have one of my favorite porters ever. I love porters. This is Coconut Porter by the Maui Brewing Company out in Maui, which is so good. So good. This is kind of expensive, and I imagine it's because of the shipping.
Yeah, coconut and Maui is the combination you want, though.
So. Oh, yeah. Coconut Porter, Maui Brewing from Maui, Hawaii. This stuff is fantastic. I think it's seasonal, too.
Probably.
Well, yeah.
Who knows? All right, so...
How about you?
I got, from Fort Collins Brewery once again, I got their chocolate stout.
Okay.
And, I don't know, I haven't had a whole ton of Fort Collins Brewery stuff, so we'll see what it's like. I mean, I've had their Malt Monsters line, which was fantastic. I loved it. I had it on this show. And I had, their Hefeweizen, which I wasn't as big a fan of. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how this stacks up. Who knows? But if you're in a safe place, you should grab some alcohol. Listen to us. Turn us up on either YouTube or iTunes, wherever you listen to us. And drink up.
Cheers.
Of course, if you want to know more about any of the beers that we have, either this week or in past weeks, you can look at our Facebook page. That's at Geek News and Craft Brews, all spelled out on Facebook. And we have our beer profiles there. It has the breweries, names of the beers, where you can find them, and what we thought of them. General opinions. So, yeah, check them out if you want to drink along with us.
Whew, I love this porter. It's so good. It's great for this time of year, too, because it's kind of a fun... The coconut reminds me of summer stuff. Mm-hmm. And but porter's always kind of more of a colder weather drink for me. So, the spring sort of slushy snow...
Yeah, it's perfect because it's snowing outside and it's just turned spring. So.
Yeah. It's late March right now, and there's... no, it's
early April.
Yeah,
early April.
It's April. And there's snow outside. But, you expect that in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's jump into it. First thing I want to talk about is old school movie reboots. Because there's been a fair amount that are just coming out and have been just released.
Yeah.
Specifically the Batman 66 reboot with Adam West and Burt Ward.
Yeah, the announcement of that. I guess we're going to do an animated movie.
Yes, animated movie so they can still lend their voices to the characters. Mm-hmm. But they can, move around and stuff.
Right, yeah. They're getting up there.
Also, Mad Max coming out. Trailer just dropped. It was super awesome.
Badass.
So, yeah. What do you think of all these kind of older movies coming out? Terminator 2, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happened. Well, and this is nothing new. They're always taking older concepts and older storylines and Godzilla's, of course, all the Transformers, all the G.I. Joes, all that kind of stuff. Which I wasn't really a fan of any of those that we just mentioned. That being said, I'm really excited about the Mad Max.
Yeah,
especially after this latest release of trailers. That looked so freaking awesome. Looks so good.
Yeah, I've never really been a huge Mad Max fan. I think it was kind of before my time.
Oh, not me. I'm a massive Mad Max fan. Massive. That's why, because it was the first real post-apocalyptic story movies that I watched. And wow. I mean, the first Mad Max isn't all that good. Granted, late 70s.
Yeah.
I think it's dubbed, even. Because
is it?
Yeah, because of just the way it was produced. It's the sounds weird.
Yeah, the sound wasn't good enough, so they had to do it later.
Yeah, who knows? And it's all right, but it's one of those where the sequels that came after it just so much better. Mad Max Road Warrior was easily one of my top movies in childhood, and or especially as a teenager, and still remains as one of my top favorite movies of all time. Such a good flick, and Beyond Thunderdome's fun too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's way more campier, but it's still a fun movie. And what the reboot looks very much like Road Warrior that they're doing here. So I'm super excited because they're just kicking it up to that next level with especially modern makeup and modern graphics and
CGI and all that.
and just stunt devils and just the modern budgets that are put into these movies.
You can do so much more than they could even imagine back in the 70s.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. It just looks so badass and metal and awesome. Yeah, there are some really good post-apocalyptic films from back then.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I'd like to see a remake of A Boy and His Dog. That was a good one. It starred the dude who was in it was Don Johnson. He was like in Miami Vice and stuff like that down the road. He was super young. Yeah, he had his telepathic dog out of the wastelands.
All right.
Pretty cool. And these are all Cold War era movies, so they're all, it's nuclear wastelands, right? There's no zombie apocalypse there. They're worried about the nuclear
because that's the fear that was always hanging over their heads.
Yeah. Now we're worried about the super virus.
The I Am Legend type.
Yeah, or like
apocalypse.
The Stand. That would be cool to see like a modern version of The Stand. They've done some of that stuff before. Yeah. But at any rate, I'm really excited about Mad Max. I think that's going to be good. Batman 66, I'm not so sure what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's not going to be meant for us. I just, maybe like hardcore fans of the old show.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Who's the target audience?
I think it's going to be kids. They made a real dark Batman with Christopher Nolan and all that. They made a real dark, edgy Batman. They're going to go forward in that dark, edgy direction. They want that fun, campy Batman back. And
I guess if they want the Batman that can hang out with like Scooby-Doo and stuff, that's real young target audience. I mean, because Batman the Animated Series, that was really good.
Yeah, Batman, I still watch that. I watched that last night.
Mm-hmm. There we go,
It's dark.
Yeah, it's good.
There's parts where it's really dark.
So is this Batman for like, it's 8 and under, or is it Batman for? See, I would like it to see it if they do it almost more of an Adult Swim, where it's so campy that the adult jokes are so laid in there, that it might be something that you can watch with your kids, but it's really meant for adults.
Yeah, the
that's how
Adam West Batman movie was one of those that it's just so ridiculous and over the top, just stupid.
Right.
That I think really anyone can enjoy it just because it's one of those movies that you turn on like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Some younger kids might take it seriously because they're like, oh, Batman's running around, he's got to get rid of that bomb. And the parents like, he just ran into a group of nuns, like, with baby strollers and stuff. Like, it's just pure ridiculousness.
I was about to say, it's just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It really is. Which makes it fun.
Yeah.
So...
But, I mean, looking at animation, especially Cartoon Network type stuff, it's going for that real younger audience. Like, one of the shows I loved growing up was Teen Titans.
Yeah, that was alright.
That was a great show that had really good plot-driven stories, and they cut it on a cliffhanger that I'm still mad about, but that's not the point. They cut it, and like a couple years later, they replaced it with Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. There is no plot. It's just the crazy antics that happened in the original show without any of the plot or meaning that went along with it.
Good for kids. Terrible if you want to watch it with your kids.
Yeah.
Right? So, we'll see how it happens. I think you're right. I think it's probably going to end up being much more for the kids. I guess it's good for Adam West and Julie Newmar and Burt Ward. Mm-hmm. That's cool because now they have work.
Yeah.
And that's not just, going to con after con after con, and getting paid for their signature.
Adam West does Family Guy.
Oh, well, Adam West definitely.
Adam West is fine, but
he's
everyone
had
else.
work. Yeah, the rest of them. Yeah. But again, he's kind of in that same typecast.
He exists kind of as a joke of himself.
Well, he understands that.
Yeah,
Batman was a goofy role that he had, but it's the role he's known for, so he rolls with it. He understands that that's his career, and just having that sort of goofy, campy, wacko, weird persona has helped him a lot, and at least adopting it and being cool with it, and letting that be part of his identity. Yeah, that's been fine. I loved his interview on Space Ghost. Cracked me up. Yeah, it's fantastic. I know that's pretty old, but still, yeah, it's fun stuff.
I mean, even if this movie is meant for kids, it could still be a great movie. Big Hero 6 is the one that comes to mind. Movie 100% meant for kids, 100% driven towards kids, from Disney, all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, I enjoyed it as an adult. It was a great movie.
Do you know what studio's doing this animated Batman?
I don't know on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, that
probably whoever has the Batman rights. So.
Yeah. Oh well, I didn't read. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. If not, then it's just no real loss to us. I mean, hopefully it gets some younger people involved in that older show, because that might be a version of Batman they like. It's not my version of Batman, but it might be theirs. Who knows? Batman for everyone.
I would not be surprised also, though, if this is like the last time we see Batman 66.
I would not be surprised either.
It's kind of down. And I know there was a slight resurgence with the comic book lately, too.
Is that still going?
Yeah, it's still. They're doing that.
Oh, well. Can't be Batman.
Can't be Batman.
It's for someone out there.
Yeah, speaking of campy stuff, campy people.
Yeah,
segue to the Xtreme Justice League.
Yes, the Xtreme Justice League. This is a group of ordinary citizens their whole organization is based out of San Diego, California, and these ordinary people at night dress up as superheroes and help fight crime and raise awareness for missing people and do kind of Good Samaritans type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely... It's like out of that movie Kick-Ass. Or comic Kick-Ass, if you read comic books.
If you're cool.
If you're cool. Which... Whew. So, and here's... Whew, man. There's a lot to say about these guys. And I recently just found out about them because I was approached by someone who's trying to start up a chapter here in Colorado. So I checked out their website, Xtreme Justice League. I immediately took issue that they spell extreme with an X.
Extreme.
Yeah, extreme.
Yeah.
But that's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that against what they're doing.
Whoever started it just made that choice.
Well, I think, I think one of their founders is a guy named Mr. Extreme. He spells himself with the X in Extreme. And I just...
Well, you can't put like an E on your chest. You have to put the X.
Yeah, whatever, I don't think pseudo-vigilantism is a good excuse for bad grammar.
But, I mean, you did bring up the good point, as the vigilantism of it all.
Yeah, it's dangerously close to being a vigilante, which I think means that you're actually going out to try and, punish criminals.
Yeah, it's... at the very base, taking the law into your own hands.
Yeah.
And not going through the proper legal channels.
Which is what most traditional costume superheroes do.
Yep.
They're vigilantes, but it's it's very illegal. Yeah, it's not...
It's no laughing matter.
It's no laughing matter at all. Yeah, there was a case in the 70s, I think, that, I know this is dated and it's kind of rare to pull something out, but there was a guy who was kind of acting as a vigilante. He wasn't a costume or anything like that. But it was very much for like women's rights, trying to stop rapes and that kind of stuff. At any rate, some guys ended up being stabbed after just getting in an argument with their girlfriend or their wife or something like that on the subway by this crazy dude. Right? And
wow.
Yeah, it was just like a lover's spat or something like that, right? And so it's easy how it can go too far. And here's the other, yeah. And this is what concerned me, is that the person who approached me spoke a lot about, his martial artist, and he was going to train anyone who wanted to join, who wasn't already qualified, was going to train people how to disarm weapons and that kind of stuff. And that's very dangerous mindset to have. Extremely dangerous mindset. Yeah, I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I am a graduate of the U.S. Army Ranger School, right? And they did go over a lot of unarmed combat stuff in there, including disarming people with knives and that kind of stuff. And the first thing they tell you is that if you're in a knife fight and you're going to get cut, you're going to get stabbed, and expect to get cut. Expect to get stabbed. And the first rule of a knife fight is get a gun. It's not. And another thing they also stressed about this, and again, this is a fairly difficult elite military school. They were very clear stressing, don't take this type of training out into the streets. If you go into a bar fight with this kind of thinking that you're going to kick ass because now you know how to choke people out and maybe handle someone who has a knife and this and that, whatever. That's a false ego boost. So just that kind of misunderstanding, you put on that costume, adopt that persona. I think it's inviting someone to actually get themselves seriously hurt, which is what happened in Kick-Ass several times. And if you read the entire series, most of those people die who put on those guys. I mean, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But good stuff does not happen to them. In fact, the movies tame that down a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have a movie where most of the, heroes die.
Yeah. However, the movies did add MC Shark, which I don't remember being in the books. And I loved MC Shark. Yeah. That was great.
I was a fan of that change.
MC Shark was fantastic. I mean, but, you know a little bit more about them. Though. Yes. I just did a little bit of research, and what the gentleman who approached me was mostly talking about violence-related stuff. But I think the actual Xtreme Justice League does a lot more besides that.
Mm-hmm. And my interest in the Xtreme Justice League actually came before I even knew about them. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and there's a guy up there named Phoenix Jones who, dressed in costume, goes out and stops crimes.
Is he dressed like a phoenix?
He's got a black and red kind of body armor type suit.
Oh, okay.
And so kind of not the full wings and stuff, but
well, that's alright. Yeah, that's a kind of cool name, Phoenix Jones.
Phoenix Jones. Yeah. And he at one point was taken to court because he tried to stop a bar fight and he pepper sprayed some people or maced some people.
In a bar?
Outside the bar.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. And so he was taken to court for excessive force, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he had to reveal his identity in court because he was always wearing a mask. Mm. So, found out, I don't remember his name exactly, but he was a MMA fighter.
Oh. Okay. So someone who has done serious amounts of training physically.
Yes. He was actually pretty good, too. Pretty good MMA fighter.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know. I just read that as a high schooler, I think, is when I first learned about him. And I was like, that's awesome. I mean, someone's taking the message of these comic books and comic book movies, and they're doing something with their lives. They're going out and they're trying to make a change for the better. And...
yeah.
Sometimes.
I think that that's great.
Yeah.
And, I've seen a little bit of Xtreme Justice League from what I just saw on their website of them about helping out with homeless shelters and that other kind of volunteer work and that kind of stuff. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crime prevention.
Yes.
Is where it's at. Yeah, not crime intervention. Crime prevention.
Fighting. Or
yeah,
whatever.
don't think about crime fighting. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm worried that a lot of the people who are engaged in these activities don't really understand. Or might not understand. Or someone who might join or emulate these people who doesn't understand the difference.
And I mean, I kind of followed this interest from Phoenix Jones and kind of did some research into other people like him, because there had to be, if there's one, there's got to be more. So I found the Xtreme Justice League, and they do some stuff in volunteering, they do some stuff in kind of missing person stuff, and it seems like a lot of what they do is patrol. I think they do some like after school work too. Like some kids club type thing. But a lot of what they do and a lot of what they highlight is the kind of patrolling the streets.
Yeah, walking.
Crime fighting stuff. But there is one person I found that, forgive me, but I can't remember the name exactly. It's, I believe, Ponderosa Batman. It's Batman of some small town. I think it's Ponderosa.
Okay.
And what he does is what I would want every single person that puts on a cape and wants to make a difference, I want them to do. What he does is he works on the prevention.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He works on missing person cases. He teams up with Ponderosa, Joker, and Penguin, and they stage like fake fights to teach kids that like being a criminal is never going to pay. Okay. And they have like these elaborate drawn out fights in like town squares and stuff. Then he goes around and talks to all these kids and does like after school programs and volunteering and stuff. And like, that's amazing. Like that's the kind of
that's going to be much more effective too. Yeah. I've always actually kind of been pretty critical of Batman, because if Bruce Wayne spent a fraction of what he spent on his bat gear on, say, youth clubs, or just giving it to people to elevate them to a status where they wouldn't need or want to or have to commit crimes in order to feed themselves or provide enough jobs so that people aren't, falling into dangerous drug loopholes and traps and that kind of stuff. That he would drastically change the difference of crime in Gotham City by using his billions that way, instead of getting super fancy equipment to go around and kick the shit out of people at night. Now, that being said, there are criminals who are, no matter what social program or whatever you have in place, those are all prevention methods. And there are people that are always going to need to be brought to justice. So there's always going to be a need for law enforcement.
If you put that funding into the police department, they can handle it.
Oh, yeah. And they're trained to handle it. And they're professionals at it. They're doing it all the time. I mean, I've watched a couple of videos of Xtreme Justice League on YouTube, and these people going out patrolling, they're cosplayers. They're out of shape. Or they're in a dress, like a tight dress. They're just like, no. If you're getting in a physical altercation, which is what you describe as something you do on your website, then you're woefully unprepared for that situation, right? And it only takes you, macing somebody's fine, but what happens when you mace somebody who doesn't give a fuck about mace and pulls out a gun and just shoots your ass because of that, right?
Yeah,
because that could easily happen in America. Easily happen in America. So that's what I'm worried about, is I'm going to see some young person who already has a loose grip on reality, maybe a borderline Westaboo, who
joins these people.
Who joins or just starts up their own kind of a thing, trying to emulate them, gets involved in some sort of a bar or outside of a bar kind of a conflict, and gets fucking stabbed or shot or just beat to death, or just, something terrible like that could happen to him. Yeah, that's just... Yeah, it's
yeah.
If you go out looking for a fight, you're going to find one eventually.
Yeah, if you really want to help prevent crime, join the police academy, join a crime prevention program. There's plenty out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a quick Google search away if you truly want to make a difference in people's lives.
I honestly wouldn't even say join the police academy. I don't think the police do a very good job at crime prevention either. They do a pretty decent job at crime reaction, but there's plenty of examples of how, well, I'm not going to get into my criticisms of policing in America on this podcast, maybe. You know? That's a subject for another time, not exactly geek news. But yeah, no. There are, however, examples of towns. The latest one I can remember is one in Texas that essentially, fired their police department by voting out their budget, using that to hire private security, and crime rates drastically dropped because the privatization just approached it in a different manner.
Oh yeah,
right. They're not there to. They're already getting paid. They're not going to get bonuses or get more money for tickets that they write.
Yeah.
They don't have quotas. All sorts of other stuff like that. At any rate, crime prevention, I think, the best crime prevention is getting youth or people who are in a tough spot into a better spot. Right? Mm-hmm. I read an interesting Freakonomics article about how after the legalization of abortion most likely led to a drastic decrease in violent crime in America down the road, because so many, once people who were totally not in a situation to raise a child never raised a child, the person never existed to fall into a dangerous gang, or because if they're in an inner city situation, you already know you can't possibly care for this person, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So essentially, so it limited the number of recruits for violent gang activity and whatnot, and violent crime has significantly decreased as a result. And again, that's not me coming up with that. I believe it was Freakonomics who made that connection. So if you're freaked out about that or you're upset about that statement, just look at their website and yell at them about it. Yeah, but that's just it. You make sure people aren't in that situation to where they think that crime is an acceptable path to begin with.
Or the only path. Or the only way a lot of it starts.
And that's really the best way to stop any problem, is to prevent it. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. So, moving on to a lighter topic, before we lose any more of you over statistics.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So, we're going to talk about a new show that Stan Lee, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Stan Lee, is coming out with a new show on BBC, correct?
Yeah, I think he's partnering up with the producers or someone who's working with Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey, of course, the massive hit that I don't understand. I don't get it. But a lot of people love it. It's very sophisticated.
I've seen a couple episodes. You get kind of wrapped into the character development.
All right, there you go.
And it's
Talk to Chris about Downton Abbey.
It's actually a really good period piece around World War One. Mm-hmm. Which is part of history that I don't really understand real well. But yeah, I had fun when. At any rate, Stanley's got a new
show.
It's called Lucky Man.
Lucky Man, indeed. About a detective who has this bracelet or something.
Yeah, gets some sort of a charm that lets him alter his luck.
Yeah, it makes him essentially lucky. Lucky Man.
If he wants to be.
Yeah, if he wants to be. And why would you not want to be? Seems like that would be a constant, just give me, what's the button for luck?
Well, sure, especially if you're a detective.
Oh, yeah. So, there's very little information released about that, but...
Yeah, it's very new.
It's Stan Lee, so...
Well, I think it's going to be pretty cool. British TV is actually pretty good. There's some really great stuff out there. Orphan Black, I think Black Mirror, I think is another one. Sherlock, of course, is fantastic.
Sherlock is
so good.
with Benedict Cumberbatch and Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah,
don't remember his name.
Yeah, so British TV is pretty solid, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of their sci-fi superhero take. I don't think it's going to be very superhero-y.
I don't.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of almost like it sounds a little bit like, who am I thinking of? Not Constantine. Yeah, but sort of like Constantine, I suppose. Yeah. Harry Dresden, that's the one I'm thinking of, which is another kind of detective. Although both of those characters are very supernatural. And I think just this, and it makes me think this charm that alters your luck is going to be...
It's got to be in the supernatural. When it's dealing with the luck, it's got to be dealing with that kind of extraordinary, supernatural type thing.
Yeah, the first character I ever read of who had powers over luck was actually a Donald Duck character. It was Donald's cousin, of whose name I forget, but never worked a day in his life. Because he would just be like walking down the road and be like, damn, I could really use like a ham sandwich. I'm kind of hungry. And for whatever reason, like a delivery boy would be riding past him on his bicycle and a ham sandwich would like fall out of the bike and land in front of his feet.
It's extreme luck right there.
Yeah, that was exactly it. I remember reading a comic where Uncle Scrooge gave them both like $1.50 or $5, something ridiculous to go do something with it and report back to him in a week. And like this guy just like went and gambled with it and he came back with millions. Just like whatever,
Yep,
money's not an issue with me.
Oh God.
Right? But there are some others like Catwoman. I think she has some sort of weird luck.
Yeah, she has some luck.
Or she can give bad luck to people, right?
I've always heard she has good luck, but...
I think she can give other people bad luck, too, though.
Huh.
Maybe... No, that's not Catwoman. That's Black Cat that I'm thinking of.
Black Cat, yeah. Black Cat can give people bad luck.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. And Domino, another Marvel character.
Never heard of Domino.
Well, she was really tied in with, like, Cable, Deadpool, X-Force, I think it is.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, an X-Force type character.
They roll with that crew.
Yeah, and she was really badass because she was like an assassin with luck-altering powers. So she could like...
So, wait.
Bing, like shoot a bullet, like bounce like 10 places and like hit the guy like right in the head.
So she doesn't even need to be good at her job. It's like...
I mean, she was good at it. It's a Marvel character.
Yeah.
But yeah, she became... really, really, really good. She used a lot of it on like defense, like it was impossible to hit her. So there's a lot you can do with probability altering powers, which is what luck is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how this character will have kind of a villain. Because if he's lucky all the time, there's got to be some limit on it. Or some price to pay.
That's what I think. I think there's probably a price to pay.
Because if he's lucky all the time, then he's lucky all the time. There's nothing that can hit him. There's nothing that can hurt him. Because he's going to, like, a sniper is going to line up his bullet and, shoot it. He's going to be like, oh, a penny, and the bullet's going to fly over his head or something.
Yeah, he'll be like that Donald Duck cousin.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy is.
That Donald Duck cousin's never going to have a problem. So there's got to be some kind of catch. Almost to the problem.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of a limit or a sacrifice required. We'll see. We'll see what they do with it. I'm excited. It involves people who have done some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what comes out.
I mean,
good job on keeping up with working and everything too. Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley.
Like, holy cow!
94.
What a workhorse! Jeez, yeah. Dang,
dude. Is going to be alive with like the cockroaches at the end of the universe.
He's gonna outlive us all.
Him and Keith Richards. Have you seen Keith Richards?
Keith Richards, yeah.
Oh my God, that guy is somehow alive.
I don't know what it is. Maybe there's some point where he had the perfect drug cocktail that granted him immortality or something. Probably.
Oh, God. But, I mean, Stan Lee, I think a lot of what he's done is he's always worked on stuff he's loved. And I think that's what's really kept him going, kept him young in all these years.
Yeah. He has some... It's funny. Key and Peele did a really fun sketch where they were about what if Stan Lee was pitching ideas now. And they did it in the style of his older ideas. Which, granted, if you pitched in some of those ideas now, especially with some of the writing of those very first Marvel
older
books,
comics don't hold up.
No,
they're
not
like
at all.
the Mighty Ducks movies. They don't hold up.
No. The characters have to evolve with the times. Yes. Which is interesting. That's why you see some characters become how they wax and wane in popularity throughout time, which is why Deadpool and his cynical self is so popular right now.
Yeah.
But the loner, brooding Wolverine isn't nearly as popular as Deadpool.
What do you mean nearly as popular? He's had like 20 movies.
I'm just going by like merchandise and comic book sales.
True.
Which I think is a little bit more of an accurate finger on the pulse of pop culture than movies. Especially older movies. Yeah. I bet Deadpool movie is going to be way better than any Wolverine movie.
The Deadpool movie is going to be fantastic. We're going to talk more about that in the bonus video, though.
Yeah. We might as well raise a glass, or unless there's anything else you want to talk
No,
about.
I mean, it's going to be a little bit shorter one, but that's cool with everyone.
Yeah, we'll break it into segments for you.
Yeah. It's time
I
to...
say we, I mean he.
Yeah, but it's that time to raise a glass to something we talked about in the episode that we feel deserves more recognition, that we really care about. Chris, you got anything off the top of your head?
I'm going to go with doing a proper reboot, because I really feel that Mad Max is going to do that. So taking an older character design and doing it justice with modern media. We'll just say, modern mediums, To those of you who do it right, thank you so much. We totally raise a glass to you.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's see. I'm going to raise a glass today to kids shows and kids movies that are for everyone. That are going to be good for... anyone of all ages, because the writing is good, the characters are good, art's good, whatever it is. If you're meant for kids, but you can still captivate that adult audience, you are a master of your craft, and we raise a glass to you.
Oh, yeah. Cheers. Pixar's so good at that. Yeah. Studio Ghibli's really good at that too.
Yes, 100%. I mean, they'll always put out good stuff. I mean, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away.
Yeah. God,
the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, anything from those two, I've enjoyed just about. I'm a big fan of WALL-E. I just loved WALL-E.
Yeah. Alright, so you can find us all across the internet, of course. We're on Facebook, like I said, at Geek News and Craft Brews, all spelled out. We're on YouTube at the same address. We're on Tumblr, of course, and Twitter. All those links you can find on our Facebook page. It's right there on the side menu for you. Make it real easy so you can get all the Geek News and Craft Brews you want. Throughout the week, we're going to post stuff that we think is interesting, think you should take a look at on our Facebook page. And that will update to Twitter, Tumblr as well. So everything's ready for you.
Yeah.
The bonus video that we're going to have doing today is talking about the Deadpool movie.
News.
There's big, huge news. If you haven't heard it, you need to watch.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. And it makes me so much more just can't wait
I can't
for
wait.
the movie.
Yeah. It's going to totally redeem Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. Quick note on just the format of these things. Normally, we will release the full podcast length on YouTube on Fridays. Starting next week, we're going to change that up, so we're not going to release the full video. But you still get the full podcast on iTunes on Friday. Then we'll just release highlights throughout the week. Yeah. So it just makes it a little bit simpler, breaks it up. So you don't have to watch like an hour-long video.
This whole thing is still in its infancy.
It is.
It's gonna grow and evolve and change.
It's like 2 months, so it's nothing.
Yeah, it's still just a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, baby face hugger.
It's not a face hugger. It's at no point going to jump out of your screen or iPod and.
No, it'll affect your brain and change you forever.
All right,
it'll happen.
So we ask that you please share this with anyone that you think would enjoy it, any of your nerdy friends, or anyone that enjoys geek culture, because word of mouth is really how we get around. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate every share you give us. And yeah, do you have anything else?
No, just thanks for watching, though. You know, like I said, we appreciate it. Those shares, those likes, those comments. You all know how those social media websites work. You know, you have to interact with it, and then more people will see it, and then we can talk about it when you guys comment on stuff. And big community of us geeks who can't stand each other and troll each other. It'll be fun.
Yes. All right. So there will always be more news for us to report. So we'll always be back next week.
Yep.
Till then, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.